Hello, everyone. Welcome to Miracle Cash and More, Meta, Terra, and Phoenic 2024. This is Micah. I've been working over the holidays, putting this update together so everyone can start the new year with some great in-depth information in regards to Miracle Cash and More, Meta, Terra, and Phoenic. So today we are excited to provide a comprehensive update on Miracle Cash and More, Phoenic, and Meta, Terra for the year 2024. Our agenda begins with an in-depth discussion on Phoenic, the launch, and the strategy, followed by insights into the Meta Terra merger and updates on shares, transfers, and loans. Then I will go and I will cover some of the exciting news about our Europe launching. And we will discuss in part and show some of our brand partners, the companies that we're working with in 2024 to build our international presence. First, investor update disclaimer. So this communication contains forward-looking statements regarding our future financial performance and business prospects. These statements are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially. Investors are cautioned not to place undue reliance on forward-looking statements, which speak only as of the date of this update. We undertake no obligation to update or revise any forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information, future events, or otherwise. Please carefully consider the risk factors outlined in our official documents. Investment decisions should be based on a thorough review of all available information and consultation with financial advisors. So I wanted to mention that last week, we opened the doors in Berlin. We are currently training staff to go into full open of the Berlin and the Germany marketplace. There is a few final touches as far as security and integration that will have us be fully opened in January. We are seeing some amazing signs of success with several people who have come into the store expressing how excited they are that the service will be available in Berlin. Some are traveling outside of the country to do transactions for their clients, so they are absolutely thrilled that there will be a local solution for their needs. So we're going to discuss Phoenic. Here on this slide, you can obviously see our Phoenic logo, but also screenshots from the Phoenic website, which is very close to launching. Recognizing that you may be new to the world of cryptocurrency, where buying and selling and profiting from coins can be an unfamiliar territory. And so we aim to shed light on the market dynamics. While success stories of significant profits exist, there's also a prevalent narrative of individuals encountering losses in the crypto space. Therefore, we find it valuable to guide our Phoenic token holders through the intricacies of the market, preparing all of you for what lies ahead. As some of you already know, we have set a target of 35 cents at launch. So what does that mean in practical terms? Well, basically, it entails instructing the exchanges that we are affiliated with to initiate the bidding at 35 cents. So those interested in acquiring Phoenic will be required to pay that price. These prospective buyers are individuals who have familiarized themselves with our project through the press releases, the marketing, some of the influencers that we are starting to work with, and of course, the white paper, which is due any day now. Having reviewed the white paper, they participate in the launch and then purchase Phoenic. Those choosing to buy at the 35 cent mark believe it to be the initial low point, anticipating an increase in value thereafter. The subsequent trajectory of the price will be contingent on demand. An uptick or downtrend will be determined by buyer-seller dynamics. In the absence of buyers, the price may decrease until the balance is achieved. So I've been part of many ICOs, and I've seen at the launch of the ICO, it goes wild, shoots up by several percentage points, comes back down by several percentage points because those who bought are now selling. So there's a lot of activity that happens at the time of a launch. There are traders, they love to take advantage of this opportunity of launch. So at launch, we may see 35 cents go to 70 cents. We may see 35 cents go to 5 cents. We may see many times price fluctuating up and down. Now, giving the friends and family round was at $0.0001, which is 1/100th of a penny. We understand that Phoenic holders from that stage would realize a remarkable 100 times their money at the price of only a penny. So if you are part of the ICO stage, friends and family, which was the Miami, and you're holding what would be 11,110,000 Phoenic that you paid basically $1,100 for, if you see the price at 1 penny, those Phoenic would be a total value of $110,000. So you'd have $1,100 in, and now you're seeing $110,000. Now, anyone with a logical mind would say that's a great upside and a great selling point. So we're also obviously having to acknowledge that there's several billion coins that were bought at that price. So if you have several billion coins, let's say it's 5 billion coins at 35 cents, you're looking at selling pressure from those who hold those coins of maybe $1 billion worth of selling pressure. Now you would need to have obviously buyers that would have the capital and want to spend that capital on Phoenic, or you would see that the price would start to fall from the 35 cents. So if we initiate the launch at 35 cents and there are buyers at this point, their satisfaction would be compromised if the value was to drop to, say, a penny. Transitioning from 35 cents and purchase to 1 penny valuation would then lead to a significant disappointment and distress for those buyers. Envisioning acquiring Phoenic at 35 cents only to witness a plunge to 1 penny, an experience that could obviously evoke frustration, and it could create a prompt panic selling, contributing to potential coin crash. To avert this scenario, what we did was we looked at how can we prevent all of our ICO token holders from just selling off their Phoenic day one, and then seeing Phoenic go from 35 cents to 10 cents to 5 cents to 1 penny to 1/10 of a penny, and maybe below, and all the way back down to 1/100th of a penny. No one wants that to happen. That would be a catastrophic launch. So looking at how can we satisfy the ICO buyers by having them part of the process in the beginning and be able to actually sell some of their tokens without releasing all of that volume onto the market and crashing the coin. So here's what we put together that I believe is incredibly smart. The market, I believe, will love what we're doing and how we're doing it. So what we're doing is that everyone in the ICO will not be able to themselves go to the market and sell their coins. We believe if we allowed that, we would see the coin crashing, because we actually sold the coins at an amazing, amazing discount. So a portion of the company's sales will be allocated as a buyback pool to the ICO buyers. So we open day one, and the only coins that can be sold is the coins that Phoenic, the company, has. So Phoenic, the company, will offer the coins on the exchanges at 35 cents and not below that. Then Phoenic, the company, will continue to sell at 35 cents. Now, I'm not saying that the coin cannot drop below 35 cents, because if you have buyers at 35 cents who later decide to sell those coins at below 35 cents, it can happen that way. But the chances of that happening are much lower than someone who bought Phoenic at 1/100th of a penny that they would sell at, say, 10 cents, because 10 cents for them is 1,000 times their money. So if you have only buyers in the market that had bought at 35 cents, and you have the company who is committed to a 35-cent plus price, if the market is only made up of those two components, then we can look at a very well run strategy to continue to sell Phoenic at 35 cents and above. So if we look at that strategy and we take 20% of the Phoenic tokens that are sold, and we keep those in the pool, and we hold that volume, and then once a month we go and sell or buy back the Phoenic tokens from the ICO holders with that pool of money. So let's say that Phoenic, the company, then sells $2 million worth of Phoenic in a month. Now, I'm just using a low number because I would rather see us, say 2 million and then sell 10 million or 20 million or whatever that amount is. But for illustration purposes, let's say it's $2 million worth of Phoenic. Then 20% of that 2 million is $400,000. Now, $400,000 goes into a pool, and then it calculates the average price that was purchased at. So let's say that the average price was purchased as, let's say, 35 cents. Then the ICO holders would equally have a share in the pool. And so it doesn't matter whether you have 100,000 Phoenix, or you have 10 million Phoenix, or you have 100 million Phoenix. Each person is then allowed to sell back equal share. So that would be, let's say that there's 400 owners from the initial campaign. Those owners, and just a side note, the holiday special Phoenix that we gave would not be included in that because it dilutes the field too much. We will have a separate plan for the 111, I think it was 1100 Phoenix. We will have a separate plan, and we will announce that plan for those holders. But anyone who was part of the packages, anyone who was part of the friends and family round, and round 2 and round 3 would be included. So for illustration purposes, let's assume that there's 400 ICO token holders. Then we have a pool of $400,000, which means that each ICO token holder is allowed to sell $1,000 worth of Phoenix at 35 cents back to our company. That would be that you would sell 2,857 Phoenix back to the company at 35 cents, which would equal $1,000. So we have our friends and family round. You have 11,110,000 Phoenix. And so you would take 2,857 of those, and we would give back $1,000, which is only about $100 less than you purchased the 11 million for. Now you can see what an incredible upside that represents. Then we would go to month 2, and we would do the same thing in month 2. Then we would go to month 3, do the same thing. And this program would continue for 24 months. After 12 months, we will offer a reasonable staking reward for the Phoenix that you are holding, that is locked in a holding tank. So you'll be earning Phoenix on your Phoenix from month 13 till month 24. Then on month 24, all of the ICO Phoenix tokens are released. Now, we estimate that 90% of our Phoenix holders plus will, in the first 2 or 3 months, according to our plans and what we're doing, we believe that in the first 2 or 3 months, the amount of money that was spent on Phoenix and the ICO will be able to be sold back at a profit for everyone in the first 2 or 3 months. You know, me and Hakan spoke at length comparing this project to everything that's out there. And we believe that looking at the top 30 coins, the top 40 coins, we are one of the stronger projects. And I believe, from what I've seen since 2014, when I started looking at tokens and projects and everything that I've seen, I've never seen a new project that has as much value behind it as the Phoenix. Because we have a company, and we've been building this company with its technology, with the exchange, with everything that we have, including, you know, physical stores all over Cyprus, and now physical stores being opened in Europe, along with a government contract and a real live brick and mortar physical casino being put into the equation. The project that we have is absolutely strong enough to hold that 35 cent price and to increase from there. You look at BNB when Binance launched, it was a token basically only for the Binance exchange. They launched at 9 cents, and the highest price that they reached was $650. Now, keep in mind that early on will be obviously the cheapest that anyone can purchase Phoenix. And as the industry grows, as the company grows, we can see Phoenix reaching several dollars in price from its initial 35 cents launch. All right, so here's concluding and summing up what I just said. If we allowed you and all of the people next to you who have millions and billions of Phoenix to go to the market and sell on your own, you would see a Phoenix token crash immediately. You would not have any buyers because the buyers would look and see how many Phoenix are being held by ICO and that they have the full right to sell. They would say, no, we're not buying, because when these people start selling, we'll see that coin crash. However, when they see that the company is managing the sales and that the ICO sales are limited to sell back at a percentage, and that the buyback is a buyback and destroy those coins, then you'll see buyers confidently coming in and buying at 35 cents and continuing to purchase and see that token increase in value. This is our plan. This is our target. This is our strategy. And we believe it's a fantastic strategy for everyone involved. Keeping that value up, keeping that value above 35 cents, and hopefully pushing that value way above the 35 cents launch price. So we mentioned casinos, and this is a big part of our project now. And this actually wasn't even part of the project when we first started to sell Phoenix. Had the casino deal been part of the project when we first started selling Phoenix, there's no way we would have sold Phoenix at the 100th of a penny price. Because adding something so substantial and so valuable to a project means the project value instantly increases for everyone. So consider yourself very fortunate to have been able to purchase Phoenix at the 100th of a penny price, because it would have been a 10th of a penny price had we already had this deal in place. So I wanted to actually now announce and fill everyone in on a new deal that has happened a few weeks ago, and we chose not to make any announcements. We felt that we had made a lot of announcements, and we wanted to develop this deal a little bit further before we shared it with everyone. There's things that have happened in the world because of the COVID situation, the lockdowns, and some companies had been started projects, and because of the lockdowns, their firm's revenue decreased, and they are now forced to walk away from project that they started. And one of those projects is a casino project in North Cyprus, which is located about 10 minutes from the city of Kyrenia, where the company has built the structure, and they're 65% done with the project. Because of our relationship with the Ministry of Tourism and the deal that we have with them, we were alerted to the sale of this project, and we toured the project. spoke with the owners. There were several other companies that were there wanting to step in and buy this project because there's so much done already. They are telling us that the estimated time to be able to open this resort casino is about 18 months from now. It is an oceanfront property with a permission to build a marina and a beach in front of it. It is at a stage where they're starting to tile the rooms, electrical, plumbing, everything's done. So it is very far gone. When we saw this, due to that we already have 2 properties oceanfront, we were considering whether it was a good idea to make a bid for this and buy this project. And after we did the math, and we realized that if we made this the first hotel casino project, we would gain 2 years. So we would be able to open in 1.5 years instead of 3.5 years out, which would give us 2 years of operating the casino hotel, which we know that there's other hotel casinos that are profiting somewhere around 100 million a year. And so that then if it's 2 years that we gain, that means essentially that we gain 200 million if all goes well. And 2 years of time. So we did look at this, negotiate, and because of the relationship with the Ministry of Tourism, which is the division of the government that actually handles the licenses for the hotels and the casinos, they helped us to be chosen as the buyer of this resort. So we feel obviously that when there is a structure in place, when people can see that it's just a matter of time before this is finished, and that Phoenic, the company, has a deal with Miracle Estates to take 50% of the profits to create a buying and demand for the Phoenic token. We believe that this is another huge component to the strength of the Phoenic token in the marketplace. So we're very excited about being chosen as the company to step in and complete this project and be the owners of this hotel resort. And so with all of these updates and new parts to the company, our white paper is extensive. I think we're on 27 pages, and I don't believe there's been a white paper in the history of a new token that's come out with such massive amount of value and assets behind the token. The token is a utility coin, and basically what that means is that the token can be used in all of the different variable services that a Miracle has built and will be providing to the marketplace. And for every time there is a fee, if the customer uses Phoenic to pay that fee, we're allocating and giving them a 50% discount in the first year on the fees that are charged for wherever Phoenic can be used in our ecosystem, in our miracle ecosystem. So let's speak about the buy and burn. So buy and burn is basically buying the token, the Phoenic token, and destroying the Phoenic token. So we start then with 111,100,000,000 tokens, which is similar to what XRP is at. They're at 100 million. And so the way that a market capitalization is reached, the math on that is you look at the circulating supply. It's the supply that is held by people in the marketplace. Then you take price times how many tokens there are, and then you get what's called market capitalization. Now, if you were to decrease, to purchase the tokens and then destroy them, you'd end up with less tokens as in the circulating supply. And the less tokens you have, the more of a tendency the price increases. So let's cover that. And for those of you who have notes here, this is a little bit of an educational exercise. So I can explain in general economic principles behind changes in the money supply and how it can influence the strength or weakness of a currency. The explanation is rooted in basic economic concepts and may not capture all of the complexities involved in real-world scenarios. So this is going to be speaking of real-world currencies like dollars and euros and how monetary strategies affect. So you have inflationary pressure. When a central bank decides to increase the money supply, it often does so by injecting more money into the economy. This can happen through mechanisms like open market operations, lowering interest rates, or direct monetary interventions. With more money circulating in the economy, there's an increased demand for goods and services. If the supply of goods and services do not keep pace with the increased demand, prices tend to rise, leading to inflation. Purchasing power erosion. Inflation then erodes the purchasing power of a currency. As prices rise, the same amount of money can buy fewer goods and services. And we're seeing that your dollar is not able to buy the same amount of petrol or fuel as it used to be. Now it takes $5 or $6 in some places to buy a gallon, where before it was $3, $4 to buy a gallon. Investors and individuals holding the currency may seek to protect their wealth by diversifying into other assets, such as foreign currencies and commodities. As a matter of fact, crypto is doing really well in countries where the currency and the inflation is high. And we've seen this in Turkey. Inflation is very high. And so the adoption of crypto in Turkey is one of the top in the world because of that. You have currency depreciation. The expectation of a higher inflation and a decrease in the real value of the currency can lead to a decline in its exchange rate. Foreign exchange markets may adjust and the currency weakens relative to other currencies. We've seen over the last year, Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin has gone from, I think it was at 16,000, and now it's at 44, even 45,000 compared to the American dollar. So we're seeing Bitcoin again rising and winning against the American dollar, which is, I think, every year since 2009, except for 1 or maybe 2 years, the opening price January 1 was higher than the closing price in December. And of course, if you started Bitcoin at a few pennies, you can see how a limited currency that you can't inflate that has an exact amount of coins available is obviously winning in a big way against the US dollar, which is always increasing in money supply. You have deflationary pressure. So decreasing money supply creates a stronger currency. Conversely, when a central bank reduces the money supply, it aims to create a deflationary pressures. And this can happen through measures like selling government securities, raising interest rates, or implementing contractionary monetary policies. A decrease in the money supply may result in reduced spending as there's less money available in the economy, and then increased purchasing power. With deflation, the purchasing power of the currency tends to increase. Prices of goods and services decline, and the same amount of money can buy more. The expectation of lower inflation and an increase in the real value of the currency can lead to an appreciation of the currency in foreign exchange markets. Investors may find the currency more attractive, leading to an increase in demand and a stronger exchange rate. So that is part of the Phoenic strategy, is to continuously create relationships with various companies to purchase the Phoenic token, simply to destroy the Phoenic token. And the way that that's possible is because Metaterra not only owns the Phoenic company, it also owns Miracle Estates, and it also owns the Turkey company for the Turkish exchange, where we are we've pledged to take 20% of the profits from the Turkish exchange profits to purchase Phoenic and then to destroy Phoenic. So when you have what we're planning for, millions of dollars available to buy Phoenic at any price, and continue to buy, we're creating, by doing that, a demand which no other project has, a very, very, very strong demand in the Phoenic token, a buying demand. It's important to note that these relationships are influenced by a myriad of factors. So in the regular world, there's a ton of factors that affect the value of a particular currency, and many countries have simply destroyed the currency by bad monetary policies. And so when you give the power to a few people, politicians, to handle the monetary policies, sometimes that leads to that they simply destroy the currency, and those people in that country could go from being having a huge savings account to the next day being completely wiped out. So that's the strength and the value of crypto, and that's why the industry continues to grow, because there is a certain amount of comfort in knowing that there's no small group of people that can affect a currency by printing more money simply. So Metaterra is moving forward. There's daily tons of work being done, and so we're going to cover and go through the Metaterra merger. So let's delve into Metaterra shares. Some of you are holders of restricted Metaterra shares. And understanding this entails grasping the intricate dynamics at play. Currently, they are somewhere around 2,787,000 Metaterra common shares, constituting the entirety of Metaterra, which is held 2 million by Miracle Technologies, and then the 787,000 are split up between 6 shareholders. So that everyone can understand that particular part, because that part is a very big change and a very big part that allows anyone who holds a restricted share in any of the territories really own Metaterra as a company. So for instance, a conversion rate could be something like this. You are allowed to get 1 common share of Metaterra using 5 of your Germany territory share, which would be it's called the G shares, for instance, Series G. Now, if Metaterra, then DCF is submitted and it shows that 1 Metaterra share has a value of $100. And then if you have a conversion rate where you can purchase 1 common share using 5 German shares or convert, then essentially that would mean that your German shares should be worth $20 or more. Another example would be, just so that people aren't stuck on these numbers, because these are just examples. We don't know the numbers until the DCFs and everything is submitted and it's been verified. But alternatively, it could be something to the effect of that with 1 German share, you can get 50 common shares. And a common share is valued, then let's say, for example, at $50 each, then the 1 German share would amount to a value of $2,500, because you can get 50 $50 shares with 1 German share. So in the conversion, everyone will see that their shares are tied to the value of the common share. And so that is then the minimum value of the restricted share. It's crucial to note that restricted shares being entitled to receive payments, and they may be considered more valuable than the common shares, because the common shares will receive no profit distributions, but the restricted shares will receive profit distributions. This intricate valuation process ensures a comprehensive understanding of the inherent worth of Metaterra shares and their potential for future growth and returns. Now, the audit of the DCF work done by the professor will be Rödel and Partner. They are a Germany-based auditing firm, and Professor Mert Ehrer is on the board of this firm, and he provided this to the company, and he allowed us to sort of jump the line, because one of the challenges that we had was the audit, and to get the audit done could run several months. And because of his relationship with Rödel and Partner, we're able to do it not in months, but in weeks. So our collaborating brokers, instrumental in facilitating our merger with Metaterra, are working in close partnership with us to ensure a seamless integration that maximizes the value of the shares. Initial valuations guided, reported in compliance with SEC regulatory requirements. These comprehensive reports will be a quarterly occurrence, with each subsequent quarter anticipated to witness a significant increase in our share values. So here's another piece that I thought that people needed to understand. And there is many different ways that a company will reach its total valuation. Some is assets, and other is revenue. And obviously, it is looking at the industry they're in, looking at the health of that industry, the growth of the industry. So there's tons of different ways that the valuation of a company is accomplished. Now, if we look at the way that Metaterra is structured, Metaterra owns Phoenic, excuse me, Phoenic, the company. Phoenic, the company established in Switzerland, and then it also owns Miracle Estates, which is a development company in Cyprus. Miracle Estates now holds 3 different properties in Cyprus and also holds the 65% completed casino resort project as well on the books. Now, we're going to discuss how a DCF is done so that everyone understands that. But if you look at, and this is just math, I'm not going to have this written down, but you know, we did 111 billion, 100 million Phoenix tokens. We're looking to go and launch into the marketplace in January with that number. About 15% of that is sitting with the ICO buyers. The rest is held by Phoenic, the company. So Phoenic then holds 95 billion, take or give, Phoenic tokens. Phoenic goes onto the marketplace. We have obviously a target of 35 cents. But let's say that for some reason we can't hold that value. Let's say that we can hold 10 cents. Okay. So then Phoenic, the company, has 95 billion Phoenic at 10 cents, which then would have a value of $9.5 billion. So then there's many companies now in the world that hold crypto on their books, and the price of that coin on the market will then establish the value of their holdings. Nothing new there. It's being done all the time. So then if we have even a 10-cent value in the market, then Phoenic, the company, would be reporting the holding of that asset, which would reflect $9.5 billion. Now, because Metaterra now owns Phoenic, the company, then that valuation can be moved over to part of Metaterra's valuation. So that is a very interesting and very fun financial engineering that is being done all the time. This is how companies, and this is the practice of this. Then you have Miracle Estates with 3 properties. Those properties have plans on building structures, building resorts, and at least 2 of them will have a casino. And so a DCF will be done on the business of that and the value. And we're going to cover how the DCF actually works. DCFs are not establishing only today's value. DCFs are establishing a value into the future. Now, the upward trajectory in European sales is expected to continue as we intensify our marketing efforts. Simultaneously, the inherent value of the project under Metaterra's umbrella will progressively appreciate over time. Our commitment to transparency involves providing regular progress reports with the discounted cash flow analysis reflecting these noteworthy achievements. While the DCF for the casino project may not be featured in the initial quarterly report, it is slated to be incorporated in subsequent reports, possibly during the second quarter. Consequently, the first quarter Metaterra DCF may not encompass all the assets valuations. Beyond formal reports, the influence of news reporting should not be underestimated as it often sparks increased demand for shares, driven by the anticipation of enhanced share and company value. So we're expecting to deliver the data to the SEC end of January, following Rodel's audit and rubber stamping of the DCFs and business plans. As we have been well aware of, there is an unpredictability in time frames, and ours has been pushed several times to the point of me being extremely frustrated with having to give a time frame, and also by thinking that we are done, only to find out that there's more they want us to do. Some have been due to changes in government policy, and other in simple bureaucracy as it goes. But we have also been pushed for a time frame because it is the nature of what people want. All you want to know is when it will happen. So we have been at the mercy of people who would never tell us when, namely governments. The emotional aspect of our journey often stems from fear of potential failure. Consider the analogy of, say, winning millions of dollars in a lottery today. And even if the payout was deferred 12 months, for instance, the reality of knowing and trusting the lottery company, we know the outcome is, I will be paid. In the present, you still bask in the feeling of being a millionaire, walking confidently and speaking with the assurance of someone who already has the money. The takeaway is that the journey may take time, but as long as the outcome is positive, the duration becomes somewhat consequential. Examining the stories of the world's affluent, it's evident that they too encountered hardships before reaching success. Even every journey commences somewhere. As Elon Musk highlighted in a video, a last-minute capital raise on Christmas Eve was crucial for Tesla's survival. This underscores the minute difference between success and failure. Importantly for us, failure was never an option. Together we have the power to shape our future, overcoming any obstacle in our path. Tesla's success epitomized by its 11th hour victory, and now you see the cars all over the world. And if you were to go back in time, in the afternoon of that day, and Elon's sitting saying, if we don't get funded today, it is over. A few hours later, the money came in, and the rest is history. So let's look at this picture now from a perspective of our investors wanting to start getting paid from the ownership, and maybe there's an urgent need for funds for many of you. What are the value of Metaterra shares derived from? As we know, our revenue has not started yet from Europe. We have some in Cyprus, but not in Europe yet. The start of revenue in Europe and Turkey is January. This is a very big month for Miracle. Our marketing firm is set to drive customers to our website and customers to our stores. Back then, to how is value derived? A discounted cash flow valuation is a financial valuation method that calculates the present value of expected future cash flows. The central idea behind DCF is that the value of money today is worth more than the same amount in the future due to the time value of money. In other words, a dollar received today is more valuable than a dollar received in the future. So here's a step-by-step explanation of how a DCF valuation is typically conducted. 1, projecting future cash flows. The first step involves estimating the expected cash flows generated by an investment or a business over a specific period. These cash flows typically include revenues, operating expenses, taxes, and capital expenditures. Determining the discount rate. The discount rate, often referred to as the required rate of return or discount factor, reflects the opportunity cost of investing money elsewhere. It considers the risk associated with the investment. The discount rate is used to convert future cash flows into their present value. Calculating the present value. Future cash flows are discounted back to their present value using the discount rate. This is typically done using the formula. Now look at the screen. You can see a formula there. Obviously, if this is not your field and you don't work in this field, you will not know at all how this works or what this is. That is why you use someone like Professor Mert to do the work as a professional, licensed professional, and then they come back to you with what they see as the valuation of the company. Estimating terminal value. For value in the cash flow beyond the projection period, a terminal value is estimated. This can be determining using various methods such as perpetuity growth model or the exit multiple method. Now I know because we've been building Miracle with an exit strategy. So I know that the professor used the exit multiple method, which gives you a valuation should you exit, say, 4 or 5 years from now. Summing the present values. The present values of projected cash flows and the terminal values are summed to derive the total present value of all future cash flows, arriving at the intrinsic value. The intrinsic of fair value of the investment is obtained by summing up the present values. This represents that the investment or business is theoretically worth based on future cash flow expectations. This is very important for people to understand that we are all angel investors. We're all angel investors in a company that has been operating in Cyprus. However, we are investing into the international expansion, which basically make us angel investors. This is the early investors in a company that hasn't fully launched. So there is no revenue for angel investors. They are looking, and there's no profit, of course. They are looking at what this particular formula company can be in the future. And that's what a DCF does. Let me repeat that. This represents what the investment or business is theoretically worth based on future cash flow expectations. That sums really up what a DCF does. Sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis may be performed to assess the impact of changes in key variables, such as the discount rate or growth rates on the valuation. Comparing with market price, the derived intrinsic value is then compared with the current market price of the investment or business. If the intrinsic value is higher than the market price, the investment may be considered undervalued or vice versa. DCF, DCF valuations are widely used in finance and in investment analysis for making informed decisions about the value of investments, acquisitions, or business projects. It provides a comprehensive and forward-looking assessment of the economic value of an asset or business. So by January 10, all companies will show as owned by Meta-Terra. Business plans and the new DCF is scheduled to be completed by the 15th, and then Rodel would do the audit. So these are then the two partners to maybe be aware of. Rodel will do the audit, and V Stock Transfer is the transfer agent that will hold the restricted shares. Now, people can either keep the shares with V Stock Transfer, or they can choose to move the shares once they are awarded. Once all of this is done, there'll be official paperwork that any of you can take to any bank and use as collateral for a loan if you choose to do that. And so there'll be obviously more information on that. There's some of you out there who are very skilled and very smart in doing things like this. And I'm sure that information will be shared back and forth in our community on how it works and how to do it efficiently, if that is something that you are looking to do. Now, the reason we went with Rodel and Partner, obviously, is it's time. It's really faster to do it with them than to use what was the original was Ernst & Young. We may go back to them, but for now, it's going to be Rodel and Partner. So we will wait for them to finish and then audit and rubber stamp, and then everything gets turned over to the SEC. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here. So we've been working on this, and there's a lot of different things that are going on locally in Cyprus. We have a very good standing with the government, great relationships. You know, Hakan's been involved in the football community there. Football in Cyprus, they're as passionate about it there as anywhere else in the world. You know, sometimes football is more important than politics. And being an owner of a team is a very good thing. You become well known in the country. And so Hakan has been working on the media rights for the league. So we've acquired the rights for the league to film and to broadcast the matches on TV in Cyprus, but also in Turkey. Those media rights also cover a crypto channel media right that also is covering for Cyprus and Turkey. And through Turkey, it's a international right that will cover anywhere in the world. And that then also comes with a application, a phone application. It's also a phone application that will be able to, where you can play fantasy football. And in that fantasy football league, Phoenic will be the currency to use. So you will pay with Phoenic, and then you will also be rewarded with Phoenic. The application is already finalized, so people will be able to play fantasy football in most of the leagues throughout the world, picking teams and competing against other fantasy football players. So that is something that is exciting, obviously, because when you have media, when you have a channel, you can obviously use that channel for your own marketing as well. We are working with MS Saatchi. This is the marketing firm that is basically taking us under their wing to market us to the world. Their clients, some of their clients include Absolute Vodka, Samsonite, Turkish Airlines, Tour de France, the Women's World Cup football, UEFA football tournament, Heineken beer, DeLonghi coffee with Brad Pitt. You have a Burger King campaign with Cristiano Ronaldo, the football player, and many, many more clients. We're very happy to be approved by them. We're very happy to be working with MS Saatchi. For our UI and UX, which is user interface and user experience, we have chosen to work with a company called Users Spots. Their clients include Ford, Adidas, ING, Vodafone, BNB Paribas, Volkswagen, and Visa, and many, many others. They are at the top of their game, and they are currently working on Miracle Cash and More exchange website. So I wanted to bring everybody back. Many months ago, I would do presentations and to sort of have people understand the size of the crypto opportunity, the opportunity of being a exchange that is doing the business of transactions, changing from fiat currencies to crypto, and having people trade crypto on your exchange, coin to coin. And then also, of course, what Miracle is doing, which is very unique. It's different applications and products that no other company in the world is doing. So we're first to market with some of these innovations. So there's a lot of different ways that Miracle will make profits. One of those is simply being a company that offers for people to be able to buy into crypto and sell crypto and also trade crypto. If you look at just that part of our company and you look at the leader in the industry, you'll find that Binance is by far leading the industry. They are doing a service of retail, which is consumer direct, but they're also doing wholesale, liquidity providing for other exchanges. Now, they advertise on their website that they have a $7.7 trillion volume annually. Now, I did some math and I said, well, on a high percentage, let's say that they can capture 0.5% of a fee on that 7.7 trillion. That gives a $38.5 billion revenue per year at 0.5%. This company has been in business for 6 years only. So if you're doing 38.5 billion in revenue, let's say that that's the number, your company is worth $400 billion 6 years into its existence. To compare that to Nike, it took them 20 years to reach $1 billion in sales. $1 billion in sales. So everyone needs to understand what we're dealing with here and what we're looking at and what this industry represents. They're still not fully talking about it in the news about really what's happening. Is there anyone in the news that has put these numbers out saying Binance may be the most profitable company on the planet? Most likely that is the case, but because the revenue is happening not in the dollars, not in the fiat currency world, not in the banking world, they're not even really covering what's happening here. Then you look at that there's only a small percentage of the population of the world that have gotten involved so far. So the adoption of crypto is in full swing, and we're only at the very beginning of this, which means that the 7.7 trillion could be 100 trillion a few years from now, or 200 trillion more years after that. Imagine how much space there is for companies to compete for these profits. As we grow, as the industry grows, which there's every proof you can imagine that this is the way that humans will transact in the future. To get a small piece of this means we are a multi-billion-dollar company, but to get a large piece of this, we're talking about a company that has the potential to reach into the billions. And to be an angel investor in this industry, in a company that is set for greatness, well, you guys can imagine what success really means for all of us. So as I conclude this update, my heartfelt gratitude goes out to each and every one of you for your unwavering patience throughout this journey. Admittedly, we've encountered numerous challenges and at times miscalculated and estimated time to bring our project to fruition. Drawing inspiration from the trials and close calls to failure shared by the likes of Elon Musk, an inspiration from the trials of the close calls, I found myself pushed to the edge many times during this transformative journey. So investing personally in this project is like stepping into a metaphorical ring, a commitment to support and belief in the success of our company. There's absolutely no going backwards. You have to always push forwards, and you have to make sure that morale is high, that the faith and the belief in the company stays high, even though there are challenges, but to let everyone know that those challenges are exactly what there is to be expected when you're in an industry that is changing the way the world transacts. For me, everything has been on the line, not just the financial investment, but my name and perhaps even more than that. Emerging from our most arduous times and now venturing beyond Cyprus to conduct business feels akin to the sweet sounds of angels singing. Every single day over the past 27 months has demanded a relentless push to bring the company to its current standing. We are now operational in Holland and soon to be Berlin and Turkey. We're open for business. This is not a mere undertaking. Selling crypto in Europe demands absolute legality and thorough vetting. The fact that no country would permit financial transactions without absolute credibility debunks any criticism aimed at Miracle. The cost incurred to reach this juncture has been monumental, with every invested dollar contributing to achieving a feat unparalleled in the history of crypto. The establishment of a physical storefront crypto exchange in a foreign country. Excitement is palpable, with people flocking to Berlin to engage in crypto exchanges within a store setting, a service demonstrating immense demand. Looking ahead to January, pending divine providence, flawless execution of marketing plans is anticipated. The launch of Phoenic and the completion of our Meta submission will mark significant milestones. Subsequently, in February, we hope to witness individuals accessing funds through loans or participate in our Phoenic Buyback initiative. The journey continues, and I appreciate the steadfast support of each stakeholder. So here's my request for everyone. Some of you got the opportunity to watch the movie Think and Grow Rich about the book called Think and Grow Rich. It was actually my first development book I ever read, and it's been part of my journey. And it's always great to revisit the book and the principles in the book. Thoughts are things, and there is scientific proof of that. In the movie, there was two gentlemen that were concerned with the drought in California, and they decided they were going to do a project about manifesting rain. They made a sign that said "Think Rain," and they set off to go to Northern California to see if they can meet with the Secretary of State so that she could rubber stamp their project. On the way up, every car they passed, they showed the sign "Think Rain." And all the drivers in the cars who were well aware of the drought in California smiled and agreed and said, yes, I will think rain. They drove up, and on the way up, there was a little bit of a droplets on the windshield, and they thought, could that have been rain? They met with the Secretary of State after convincing the secretary to take the meeting, and they got the stamp of approval from the Secretary of State. On the way back home, it started to rain, and it continued to rain, and it continued to rain. Maybe there was 100, 200, or 300 people who saw that sign, and maybe that's what led to the rain falling. I believe, and I've said this for a long time about this miracle project, that we are protected and we're destined for greatness. I started 3 years ago by creating a future for a community that we did not have. I was a few people on a phone call. I said, one day there will be hundreds of us, and we will together become wealthy, and we will together change the world. There will be a company that will ask us to launch them, I said 3 years ago. And here we are. So if all of us who are owners of miracle act like owners of miracle, we think of miracle success, we see our success, we see our stores all over the world, we vision ourselves being the leader in the industry, hundreds of us seeing it, living it, breathing it, not letting anyone suggest that there's any other option but that success. We will together create a historical success story for not just you, the individual, but also for the community, and I believe for the world. So I thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to our 2024 update. We have arrived, we are here, and January is a statement to the world of who we are. So watch for every update that we will submit through social media and through email, and we look forward to having this success together with you. God bless, and we will talk soon.